Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of My Safe Zone. Episode
Number 4.
Thank you for clicking the video. Hope y'all having a wonderful day. Don't forget to share the video and comment more videos y'all want from me. Let's get into this because I need to go get me something to eat. We enter into a flashback. Lynn has a note in her hand from her high school love, Juan. She's leaving Lynn. Lynn cries in the rain for a little. Then Jane comes to rescue her with an umbrella, saying, "Why you sitting in the rain?" Lynn tells Jane, "Things with Juan has ended. She broke up with me." Jane say, "Don't cry. You got me at least." Back to the present, Lynn is trying to talk it out with Jane. She's expressing she ain't got no feelings for Pi and that is strictly business with her. We see what truly happened with Lynn and Pi. Lynn was finna leave. Pi peeped that Jane was coming and intentionally grabbed water and poured it on herself. Lynn thought it was an accident and hands her some tissue. Pi uses the excuse of her hands being wet that she can't wipe the water off. And I'm like, bro, that's the most lame excuse. The tissue was already going to get wet from getting the water off your clothes. So what you talking about, Pi? This is why I can't be put in these precarious situations, because I think too much. But anyway, Lynn wipes the water off Pi. Pi knows that Jane has saw all this and whispers to Lynn, "It's wet down there too." Jane leaves because what the fuck? And I'm like, from Jane's perspective, it does look wild that Lynn and her just smashed last episode. Now Lynn filling up on someone else. It does look odd, but Lynn and Jane never said they were dating. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was true, if Jane actually saw what she thought. But back to the story. Pi is at the bar, pleased with herself for causing commotion in Lynn and Jane's lives. Some random comes up to Pi because they trying to talk business. Really, he trying to fuck. Pi wakes up, the guy smashed and dashed, but he left her a note saying he want to invest in what she got going on and whatever. Lynn starts the morning off right with coffee. Personally, I'm a tea type of individual, but alright. She orders,
I know that ain't who I think it is.
and I know that ain't Key, the assistant from Only You. Oh my gosh, the worlds are colliding literally. Anyway, then this woman comes in. It's Juan, the same Juan that left Lynn back when she was in high school. She asks Lynn how she's doing. Lynn says, "I'm good." Juan noticed Lynn brought two coffees and is like, "Where is Jane at?" Lynn tells her she's by herself, but is about to link up with Jane. Juan feels bad for leaving and not apologizing face to face. I mean, it was foul you left like that, Juan, but at least you left a note, I guess. Bare minimum, but yeah. Juan, like, Jane ain't tell you why I ended it with you. Lynn says, "No, but you probably got tired of me and wanted somebody new." Juan talk about when we were together, I did have a side piece, but I never wanted to break up with you. However, Jane told me to leave. I'm like, what you mean you never wanted to break up? You already had a side piece, so what the hell you over here still want to be in Lynn's face for? I don't know how people be juggling more than one relationship at a time. I would get exhausted, and if that's the case, I'd rather just be in an open relationship instead of lying and hiding. But okay. Lynn is stunned. Juan, like, Jane caught me. Juan wasn't exactly hiding it though, because why Jane spotted him on the steps doing the shit at school. Okay. Jane confronted Juan about the situation, saying, "Lynn loves you. You shouldn't do this to her." Juan talk about it's just a fling. Jane tells her Lynn is too good to be taken for granted. If you're seeing someone else, end it with Lynn. It's better than leaving her in the dark. Again, these are supposed to be teenagers, so I'm not surprised that Juan is making dumb decisions. So hopefully she grew from that, but only time will tell. Back to the story. Lynn goes to Jane's place. Jane unlocks the gate and returns back inside. Lynn really want to talk. Jane ain't trying to hear it and leaves for work. Jane's staff sees Lynn sitting outside of the restaurant and want to know why Jane ain't come and meet Lynn. They tell Jane Lynn is outside. Jane ain't moved by that information. Then asks them, "If you were me, how would you navigate this?" They want to know all the details to properly answer. Jane is thinking when she cuts her finger. Lynn rushes over to help, but Jane don't want her to. Lynn like, "Be mad or whatever. Just let me put a band-aid on you." Jane gets patched up and Lynn asks if it hurt a lot. Then tries to figure out how Jane cut herself. Lynn asks if she was the reason. Then kisses the wound and apologizes to Jane. Jane goes to leave. Lynn like, "Why don't you love me anymore? Why won't you believe me?" Jane says, "What am I supposed to think? You said it wasn't nothing, but what I saw wasn't nothing." Lynn is really trying to plead her case here. I'm like, see, they ain't communicate and ask each other what their boundaries are. Now they in this predicament, even though Lynn knows Pi been feeling her since episode 1. If you trying to be with Jane for real, shut that shit down with Pi verbally. Jane asks, "So you had to unbutton the shirt to wipe water? Why Pi didn't do it herself?" Lynn says her hands were wet. "I ain't do what you thought I did." Jane needs some time. Lynn is fine with that, but won't let Jane turn her back on her for something she didn't do. Now I'm like, that is sad, being left for something you never did, but if the person truly believes it, then there is no change in their mind. Back at the restaurant, Jane want to know if they finished prepping, because she got to talk. She asked them if she could believe Lynn. They like, "I would believe her." Bam says, "How much do you trust Lynn? If you trust her, don't doubt her." Jane says, "You want me to be a fool?" They say you know Lynn better than us. You know whether she's been faithful or sleeps around. Jane remembers Lynn is a monogamist. The day has ended. The staff is leaving and spots Lynn with a bouquet of flowers. Lynn apologizes for making Jane feel bad. They hug, and I'm like, I know Lynn ain't brought the same flowers Jane gets on the 15th of every month. I guess that's all the store had. I don't know. Jane tells Lynn she should apologize for not trusting you. Jane continues, I should have asked instead of assuming. Lynn like, I won't work with Pie if that makes you uncomfortable. Because if it's between you or work, I'm always picking you. And I'm like, speaking of work, I haven't seen Lynn come up with a dish at all. She took some pictures, but I ain't seen her cook like she agreed in episode 2. What happened to the dish she was supposed to create, Lynn? Anyway, Jane isn't cool with that because Lynn loves photography and is good at it, and admits she was being stupid fighting over nothing, then apologizes for making Lynn choose between work and her when she should have been more trusting towards Lynn. Jane cries a little. Lynn kisses the tear. I don't know what for, but okay. Lynn tells Jane she knows what it feels like to be cheated on. She would never let Jane get hurt because of her. Then they kiss. Not gonna lie, if I was walking by, my stare would linger for a little bit, only because I would think the restaurant is still open. Lynn says moving forward, no matter what happens, she's gonna choose Jane because she's the most important thing in her life. They make out all the way back home. All the things ensue. After all that, Lynn informs Jane she ran into Juan in the morning and found out you were the reason she left me. Jane like, when Juan ended things with you, I was ecstatic, but had to pretend to be sad. Lynn want to know why Jane just ain't tell her about the feelings she had towards her. Jane was too afraid back then. Lynn wants Jane to tell her what's on her mind if she don't like something, if she possessive and jealous, and tell me you love me. They kiss. It's a new day. Pie calls for Jane. They talking. Jane ain't with it. Pie wants Jane to cater for her. Jane says it ain't about the money. She don't do catering. Pie like, I'll publish an article about your restaurant. Jane is unfazed by that and lets Pie know that she gotta prepare for dinner at the restaurant. Plus, if she was to agree, Jane wouldn't have enough staff. Now, Pie is so ballsy coming up here wanting Jane to cater because you trying to intentionally ruin what she got with Lynn. That's dangerous work right there. Anyway, Pie talking about, so you're turning me down no matter the amount I offer to pay. Jane says, that's correct, yes. I won't do it. She continues, I don't feel comfortable working with you because we are in different fields. Food and fashion don't understand each other. And I'm like, yes, I love it when women are a bit sassy. Jane, keep that same energy. Jane ends it with saying, the fake water spill to cause misunderstanding and confusion. Don't pull that again. Pie leaves and tries to sway Lynn into having Jane do the catering job because Pie want to impress Isla. Lynn, like, why don't you try another restaurant? Pie tells Lynn Jane's restaurant is famous and having her cater would be cool. So could you go talk to her? Lynn says she will, but it's certain Jane ain't agreeing to do it. Pie thanks Lynn, but just had to touch her. I'm still over here like, I don't know why Lynn keeps allowing Pie to get that close, but it's fine, I guess, because she ain't tried nothing with Pie, but that couldn't be me. Back to them. Jane, like, you seen Pie, didn't you? She asked you to come talk to me, didn't she? Lynn nods. Jane says, I won't do it no matter what. Lynn already knew that and wonders if Jane is still angry. Jane says, I'm your girlfriend, a jealous one at that. I'm like, oh, now they official, because I didn't know if they was just going to be friends with benefits this whole time or what they was trying to do. But Lynn, like, I know you don't want to do it. I'll call and tell Pie you really can't do it. Hop over to Pie. She's sitting there seething that Jane turned down the offer and thinks the restaurant ain't famous. She checks her account and she in the red. Now that begs the question, how the hell was she gonna pay Jane if she accepted the job? Her money don't look too great. See, you should have been focused on that instead of Lynn and Jane. She needs funding or else the company will be shut down. She got a new photographer or whatever. Lynn is doing what Lynn do, taking pictures. Jane suddenly asks, why does Ohm like Kate so much? Lynn says Kate's wealth, I guess. However, she didn't immediately like Kate. Jane like, but she won Ohm over. Lynn tells her, my mom wasn't cool with me dating women, but Kate showed her it wasn't wrong for women to be together, and she pampered my mom. After that, my mom loves Kate more than me. Lynn continues, my mom said it was better that I dated women, so I wouldn't go through the same thing that she did. I'm like, okay, her mom thought just because she dated women, the likelihood of Lynn getting cheated on and left is lower? I'm like, ma'am, anyone can cheat no matter the gender, or was she talking about getting cheated on and having to raise a kid by herself? Because I don't understand her logic. Okay. Then, like, that's why I'm confused. My mom wants me to actively turn a blind eye and stay with Kate. I remember running after my dad's car when he left. I'm like, not as I and May dad. I swear this man is typecast for being a horrible parent. I'm like, damn, I just saw you being a trash dad. Jane's like, your mom just wants you to have an easier life. She worked hard. She doesn't want you to do the same. I'm like, I get all that, but staying in a loveless relationship isn't also a struggle? Or is there a difference? My grandmom divorced my granddad because he kept cheating. Was it hard? Yeah, but she knew he didn't care about her or the kids they had at that point. So Stan is only hurting you, not the cheater. But if that's what you choose, okay. Then, like, money can buy a lot. But if I have to be a fool just to get her money, I'll earn it myself. It's night now. Then at home working or whatever, and Jane comes through asking what you smiling for. Lynn grabs her and starts sniffing her. Jane like, please, I ain't shower yet. Lynn don't mind cause she think Jane smells amazing. Jane is serious. She finna go shower. Lynn stops her for a second and wanna know if she would go to the photo shoot with her. Jane say, did Pi put you up to this? Lynn like, no, I wanted you to come with me so you feel at ease. And see, it's strictly business with Pi and I. Jane talk about, I thought you stopped me because you wanted to join me in the shower. Lynn had already showered though. Jane knows that, but was just asking. Jane like, I'm gonna go shower for real now. Lynn changes her mind about showering together. They do everything but shower in the shower. Yes, they do everything but that. Lynn sneakily checks her email. I don't know what for, but it's photo shoot time. Jane is sort of helping Lynn. Pi walks in calling for Lynn. Jane is on alert. Pi seeing if Lynn wants something to eat. Lynn says, I'm not here to keep Isla waiting. Pi like, okay, can we talk? Jane gives Lynn the sickest side eye. Pi says, it's about work. Can we talk somewhere more private? Lynn talks with Jane, saying, I'm gonna talk to Pi. I'll be back. I'm like, now, it'd have been so unprofessional if Lynn kissed Jane right there, but to be messy while also sending a message to Pi, I would have allowed it. I definitely would have allowed it. That's the story. Pi says, I know you got your career in New York, but what if we start an online magazine together? Would you be interested? Because just signing you as a photographer wouldn't be enough. Lynn needs some time to think it through. Pi like, I get it. Walking away from a good job is tough, but let me know. I'm like, I know Lynn finna take this job because she ain't got no job in New York, and I don't know why she won't at least tell Jane. But she may be afraid. I don't know. But just come clean sooner or later. Lynn want to talk with Jane. Lynn tells her Pi wants me to be her business partner. Jane like, how? You already got a job in New York. Lynn talk about Pi wants me to leave New York and come work with her here. Jane says, if it was someone else, I wouldn't care. But Pi ain't trustworthy. Lynn like, I could stay with you and I'll have to fly back and forth. Jane will think about it. Jane goes to leave, but a car is coming her way. That wraps up episode 4 of My Safe Zone. Y'all, this episode was too much. From Pi scheming every time you turn around, to Lynn and Jane not knowing how to talk or trying to talk, but it falling on deaf ears. I wonder when Lynn gonna say she ain't got a job in New York no more. Are they ever gonna go to the beach like they were supposed to in the last episode? I wonder if they'll still be hunching when they parents come back, cause they just been doing whatever in the home since they ain't been there. But that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like for more content from me. Be safe. Later, y'all.